Raised Rowdy.
Guys, everyone, welcome to the Raised Rowdy podcast. My name's Kurt Ozan.
I'm Nicky T.
Yeah, and we got Sam Banks on today.
Hey. Sam Banks.
Good morning.
Yeah, welcome. Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us, brother.
Rare early pod.
I was late, but I wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah, you weren't late.
I took a wrong turn.
I drove straight past here. I was just like, why is my GPS telling me to turn? This ain't right. And then I was like, oh, it is. I just haven't had enough coffee yet.
Speaking of it being early, I'm going to turn my headset down a smidge.
Yeah, loud. There's not a lot of people that I would get up this early for, but Sam Banks I would for sure.
And I would do the same for you.
But
Easy.
we did it. So
We did
cheers,
it.
bud.
Cheers.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on here. This is awesome.
I think I used the word flabbergasted when Corey sent me the track that we played on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard it or anything.
That was the first time?
Yeah, it was Saturday night.
Sweet.
At like 3 a.m. is when I heard it. And we were sitting out by the bus having some cold beers, enjoying the Salt Lake City weather.
Yeah.
And we cranked that tune, and man, it sounds good. Dude, your voice in that is crazy.
Thank you. Man, it's funny. Well, I'll talk about Rob later, but he was like, Kurt finally heard the tune. I was like, I don't know if I sent it to him. He was like, I don't know how he got it, but he heard it. And I'm like, finally.
Corey.
Yeah. All right, there you go, Corey. That's how.
All right, let's backtrack a little bit. What's up, Sam? How are you today? Everything going good?
I'm good. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting through my coffee here. I played last night over at the local.
Yes.
And country
That's
music.
where I met you, I feel like. Or at least have gotten to hang with you the most.
Yeah, probably. I was thinking about that on the way over where we had met, actually. I think me and you just met over at Live Oak, but I think it was local where we met. But, yeah, you meet a lot of folks in the local.
Yeah,
And
I love that bar.
they stay good friends.
True.
Yeah.
Over at the local. Go to the local.
Yeah,
everybody.
it's a beautiful establishment, and also their food's very good. For bar food,
Their
very
fries are
good.
so good.
So good.
I know they buy them frozen from some company, but they're just amazing.
Whatever
Okay.
company they do, keep doing it.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great.
Jeff's
best.
great too. He's a really nice dude.
Man, he's awesome. He's been nice to us over the past few years. And Will and I were talking about this last night, Will Jones and I, and we've been doing this over like 3 years now in there.
Crazy.
And then, Dan Alley and I, Corey Hunt and I, we were doing stuff during the weird times.
The COVIDs.
The COVIDs.
Say the band name
But-
for everyone, please.
Yeah. But, Diamond Trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shameless
Dude,
plug.
I love
So
it.
great.
The Diamond Trio days, baby. But, Jeff gave us a place to play. When there was nowhere to play, that's where we went,
Yeah.
So it's been cool. Jeff's been great to us over there, man. It's been awesome.
So what do y'all do over there? Explain for the folks this is how I met you. So I think it ties in well with your music. So what's the gig like?
The gigs on Sunday nights, Dan Alley and I, we're doing an acoustic thing. We call them, we're starting to call them Gut String Sundays. We bring our nylon strings out and we do a bunch of original stuff. We'll take requests, But Dan and I just kind of do our thing. We write a bunch together, and we were roommates back before. I had a couple youngins, and he's got a daughter now. But back in the fun, heydays where we were roommates together, we wrote a bunch, together. So we're doing a lot of those songs that we were writing when we were roommates, and staying up too late and hanging out. But anyway, that's on Sunday nights. On Monday nights, Will Jones and I, we split the front. We play a couple Telecasters, 80s, 90s country.
It's awesome. It's if you're a classic country fan, you got to come to that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Keo Stroud plays drums. Brandon
Keo's
Talby
so
plays
good.
bass. He's the best. Neil Jones plays steel, and Will and I are splitting the front doing the country thing, man. So
Yeah, we the guys in Luke band always go down there and get to hear you guys play, and
it's
you
fun when
guys
y'all come in and hang out.
sing your
man.
asses off. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Then we get too drunk and sit in.
Yeah, you do.
That's the best part about
It's
Nashville.
so fun.
though.
I just love if you see one like Kurt, and then there's Tyler, and then
Yeah.
they all start filing in. I'm like, yes, this is gonna be a
Be one
night.
of those nights.
Yep.
Speaking of nights, we had a little surprise birthday party there for Corey at the local
Yes.
when Sam was playing, and we were like surprise, and Zach Brown came in,
Yeah.
and just coincidentally on Corey's birthday party, that was a fun night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
we got Zach on the horn and said, hey,
You called him up.
yeah.
But it was so cool to see you guys. Zach got up and play with y'all.
Yeah.
And Corey was on stage and he had the microphone. And he's like, Zach, and he was all fucking drunk from, it's his birthday. People were feeding him drinks, and bless his heart, But he was like, Zach, I'm singing the song with or without you, bud. So if you want to come up here, come on. If not, no. And then you guys did colder weather.
That's the most Corey
Yeah.
thing ever. Corey just sends it. He doesn't care. He's like, he'll just call it out. I'm doing it with or without you.
Yeah.
And he did. He joined him.
And Zach got up and sang. And I have this photo on my phone. They just like Corey and Zach and y'all were just hanging all night. It was cool.
Yeah.
That was a great night.
It was awesome, man. And we've kept in touch since that. And like speaking of the local, man, like it's just a good spot to like hang, network, meet friends, you know, new friends. And it's like, Zach Brown shows up, and then it's like, you're just, meeting cool people. It's just opportunity in there. Over the past couple of years, it's been cool. People are figuring out that spot, and coming to hang. So
and good wait staff too.
Yeah. And it's one of those spots where like if you're in Midtown, it's like, can get a little somebody asking you for something kind of thing, where I feel like the local is a little bit more of like a slightly older crowd, more just music listeners as opposed to as many industry folks.
Yeah.
It's like a mix,
Exactly.
which I think leads to a little bit more of a low key hang, which is great.
Yeah, it feels good.
And if you just want to go in and grab dinner.
Dude, it's great.
You get it all in there.
And,
always great music too.
And that was like where I was first introduced to your incredible singing and ripping guitar playing, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I think it's cool because that gig y'all play, like you said, 80s and 90s country.
Yeah.
And like, what are some tunes that you guys play? Some covers.
We play a lot of Merle Haggard stuff.
Yep.
A lot of Sammy Kershaw stuff, a lot of Waylon stuff. There was a group back in Nashville. They played at the Fiddle and Steel a lot in Printer's Alley when that was still here. But they're the Blue Healers, just a freaking all-star band here in town. And we kind of ripped some of the stuff that they were doing, like, these versions of Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line and, Today I Started Loving You Again, Merle Haggard, all that stuff, It's a mix, but you got to kind of refrain us from playing Merle Haggard because we'll do it all night long if somebody doesn't stop us.
And it's great because I hear that influence so much in your writing and your singing and, of course, your guitar playing, too. So
yeah, Hag was the triple threat, man. I mean, he wrote, he played, and he sang, and he, in my book, was, the best to do it. And I get a lot of inspiration from him, just he's like the coolest dude there ever was, so put all that together. He's my favorite, man. It's just nothing beats it.
Well, we could tell coming to that show all the time.
Is that the kind of music you grew up on, or?
Yeah. My grandpa was a big George Jones fan, Ernest Tubb fan. I got a tattoo over here that, it's a guitar, and on the back of Ernest's guitar it said thanks, I got that tattoo. But yeah, that was Papa Joe's favorite, man, was all that stuff. And Dad always, listened to it too, but Dad was Jim Croce and all that stuff. But my Papa Joe, man, was like George Jones, Merle Haggard, all that stuff was always playing, on vinyl up at Papa Joe's house, man. That's what you listen to.
Yeah.
So
my dad is Conway Twitty, George Jones heavy.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
I actually just got a Conway Twitty shirt that I paid a little bit too much for, but I don't have one.
You got to.
They're hard to find.
Yeah,
harder than you'd think.
Yeah, I bet.
Because he was so popular, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Conway Twitty.
Yeah.
My dad has like the most eclectic taste of music like in the world. I remember going to like a Peaches one time, and it was like he had gotten like, what was it, like a Marilyn Manson CD, and then like a it was like a Jagged Little Pill or something like that. It's just kind of like always. And then we listened to like jazz growing up, and then listened to Simon Garfunkel and just rock and
a little bit everything.
Yeah, classical, just literally everything. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
I remember being a little kid, and he took me. Both my parents did, to go see like Pat Metheny as like a teenager, like an early teenager, or maybe like a 12-year-old or something. And my guitar teacher at that time was like, "Dude, you have the coolest parents ever. They like are taking you to go see Pat Metheny, who, if you don't know, is a jazz guitar player."
That's pretty wicked, dude.
Yeah. But I didn't really grow up listening to country that much. I'm kind of envious now that I'm like living in Nashville that I didn't have that sort of background, I guess.
Well, I wish I had more of that jazz stuff in the background too, It's like,
I guess the grass is always greener.
I was going to say the same thing. You read my mind. Save it for the pod.
Yeah. Well, now we're here. I remember I was playing on Broadway like right when I moved to town, and I didn't know any of the tunes. I was just up there jamming.
Yeah.
And this girl was singing this song, and it was awesome. And I was like, that is such a badass song. And she's like, thanks. And I was like, no, but seriously, like, that's one of the coolest songs I've ever heard. I love it. The energy of it is so good. She's like, are you messing with me right now? I'm like, no, seriously, it's great. She goes, do you not know that song? It was like Kerosene by Miranda Lambert. And like, I didn't know who Miranda Lambert was when I moved to town. I didn't know who Luke Bryan was, or like, I knew like Hey Good Looking and Garth's hits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but, like the stuff that crossed over.
Yeah,
but, like
right.
So I've just been doing my homework ever since. I guess
that's awesome.
By going to the local on Monday nights, learning my country standards.
You'll have it, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
My dad was firmly country when I was young, but it was mostly like what was on the radio in the 90s because I was born in 82.
Yeah.
So, when I started remembering, it was like early 90s.
Heck yeah, dude.
And he would drown out the four of us running around the house because he worked shift work with like Y108 90s country radio, which then later Kurt and I had a radio show on for a little while.
Nice. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like the thing. And then, of course, everything.
Look at leather square for my cup.
Oh, yeah.
What do you call those?
A coaster.
Barely know her. All right. There you go.
From the Nashville Stampede.
Heck yeah.
So, when did you get to town?
I moved to town in 2013, actually. So,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, I was a youngin' then, but
I was just a baby boy.
18, man. Yeah. And I moved down. I lived down here for a year, and it was kind of tough. I'm one of 6 kids, so when I moved down here, I lived by myself over in Jolton, basically, so I was kind of out of town a little bit, and it was hard to get in places, and being underage and stuff. I found, like I already mentioned the Fiddle and Steel, but I could sneak in the side door there at the Fiddle, and hang and watch people, and it was awesome, man. Like half of Toby Keith's band was in there playing, and it just was crazy. That's where they found Eric Church, Toby, Rascal Flatts, all that. So it was a cool spot to hang. But anyways, like I said, it was tough to get in places. I lived here for a year, went to Nashville State, just did a music technology certificate. Did 30 credit hours of school. It was my excuse to move. No gen eds, nothing like that. But and then I started commuting back and forth. I just had found more ways to make more money at home playing music, and was trying to make Nashville work. And anyways, I commuted for a little while, and in between there, I was driving down to get on buses, and go out and do the thing. But
don't just glaze over that part.
I'm gonna get back to
it.
This is just the quick then I finally moved back at the end of November 2018.
Okay.
So I never stopped coming, but I guess the longest stint of time that I've lived here has been since 2018. Cool. So but yeah, 2013 was when I started coming down here and get my feet wet and meeting friends, and I'm still friends with those people that I met when I was a kid, thankfully. They gave a green guy a shot. But so backing up just a touch, I worked for Craig Morgan for 6 years. Yeah. So that's when I was commuting. I was playing up in Missouri during the weeks, coming down on the weekends, going out touring with Craig, and then going back home, just going back and forth. I did a few different things with Craig, which is long story short. It's like
well, we got time here, bud.
Yeah,
we got to do long story. So didn't you open for him like way back in the day?
I did. Yeah, one of those gigs back in Missouri. He came through a club there that just brought through national access, just a dance hall, smoky honky tonk, man. But anyway, my band opened up for him in 2016, I think it was, and the guy running front of house crushed it that night. He just had a really good night mixing, and they're like, "Hey, we need a front of house guy. You want to come out and do the gig?" And he's like, "Yeah," so he got the gig with Craig doing front of house. He called me about a year later. He's like, "Man, they need a merch guy out here. Would you be interested in doing that?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Not really." I was chasing the artist thing and, doing my thing. But like I said, I wanted to kind of be on a bus and put my foot in that door. And it did. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? And I did that for about a year and a half or two. And Craig was like, hey, we had some guys in the crew leave. You're the only other guy here that knows about my guitars and stuff. You want to be my guitar tech stage manager?
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, why not? I was like, I kind of wanted to play acoustic for Craig too and sing backgrounds. I kind of just, I love singing harmonies, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. And Craig and I had started writing a little bit and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So I unloaded and loaded the semi truck every morning and every night before the show, set up the stage, tore it down, and worked my ass off, to be honest. Man. Yeah. But it was cool, man. I've learned sides of the business that I don't think I would have done if I wouldn't have taken that opportunity.
Yeah. And how old were you in that time frame?
I was 22 when I started with Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like the first buses I had been. I had gone out and played guitar for some other folks on a bus, but that was like the first real touring experience that I'd got. Weekend warrior stuff. But so I did that for a while, and then one morning Craig calls me. He's like, "Hey, I had a band member leave. You wanna play acoustic guitar for me? How well do you know my songs?" I know all of them. He said, well, the gig's yours if you want it. And I took it, and I did that for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And so that was like collectively my 6-year run with Craig. And
super cool.
Ended up, writing with him. And one of the songs he recorded, I wrote with Corey Hunt and Mike Rogers. So got a couple cuts, and we became buddies. And yeah, we still chat to this day, man. He's become a really good friend and helped me out a bunch.
Yeah. Got to see how that road life really looks.
Yeah. And learning it from Craig Morgan, man. I mean, he's been doing this a long time and had a lot of success. And and that it's like you were talking about the songs you grew up on. I was born in 95. So when I was in middle school and all that, it was Craig Morgan on the radio, man, is what I listened to, you know. So it was cool, man, seeing him do that every night and learning from him, what to do's, what not to do's, and what have you. So very cool. But
there you go. I might probably learn more than that than they did at Nashville Tech.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so, man. Had a lot of fun. And Corey was out there playing keys. That's where we met, actually.
Right.
I just got on the bus one night, and I'm like, hey, I'm Sam. He's like, hey, I'm Corey. And it was over.
Best friends.
Best friends.
That's
right, man. So
love it.
Glad I took the opportunity, and you just never know when you say yes to something.
Yeah.
Of course. I think there's always that kind of leap of faith kind of a thing where it's like you just got to go and do it and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easier to do that when you're 22 than it is when you're 32, I think. But
yeah probably.
But I kind of feel like I was telling Nick a little bit this before, like you were doing the Craig thing, but now it's like you're kind of in the next leap of faith thing doing your own music right now, right?
Yeah, totally. When I was talking with Craig, I was just like, the way I worded it was I was wanting to take more opportunities for myself. I was working with him and it was a great gig, but I was trying to focus a lot on my artist stuff and writing, but I was having to be gone with Craig a lot. And, and I've got 2 little boys and a wife, so it's like, what's my main focus? And if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So that was over a year ago, right around a year ago right now, that I did that. And here we are doing the artist-songwriter thing, man, and still picking. But I'm glad, I did all that. I learned a bunch, but I'm excited on where I'm at now and taking the leap to do the artist thing, And I kick myself kind of too, because I'm like, well, what if I wouldn't have been working for Craig the whole time and putting all my main focus in my artist career, but I wouldn't have learned, what I learned. It's like now I can bring all that to what I'm doing now. I learned the merch side of things. I learned the crew setup, tear down side of things. I learned the road life thing, and so
you have an appreciation for all the other jobs that other people will hopefully be doing for you someday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I took that thing from your story the other day that John Osborne shared about the crew, the crew stuff. I thought that was super cool because I've totally been there, being the crew guy and stuff. And
just to let people know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The brothers Osborne had some crazy flight day where their flights got canceled, and they had to, instead of flying out Aspen, had to rent some minivans and drive to Denver to fly to get to Charlotte. And John just posted a little video saying how thankful he was that he had such a badass road crew. And I just loved it so much, man. I've done some teching, not a lot.
Yeah.
I've just always been like the band guy. But I have gone out and like guitar tech and stuff, which was an absolutely eye-opening experience, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you wake up, you shower the night before, you get on the bus, and you wake up, and you start your day, and it's hot outside, and I'm immediately sweaty the entire day. Then you dump the trailer, change strings, set up guitars, then the show comes, and you're handing guitars off, and you're running around, and you're doing all the stuff, and then you pack up everything, then you put it all in the trailer and pack the trailer. Then you're sweaty. You've been sweaty all day.
Yeah.
Then you shower and you're tired as fuck. And you're like, I just want a beer. You drink one beer and you're like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You go to bed and then you get up in like 6 hours and do it all over again. It's like
man.
And like the shows just wouldn't be possible without those kind of folks. So
totally.
John had posted that, which I really resonated with because out with Luke we have the best crew in the world. So it was cool.
Who were you taking for? I didn't know you did that.
Rodney Atkins.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was sitting in catering one day, and our stage manager, Matt, was like, hey, do any of y'all want to go do this guitar tech thing? And I was just like, and we had a bunch of time off. And they were like, oh, I can't do it. And they were talking about the pay. It paid really well. And I was like, wait, what? That's what they're getting paid out there with Rodney? I'm like, yo, I'll do that. Like from the table next to him, and they're like, you're going to go out and do that? Like, band guy? I'm like, hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's funny when
I mean, it was a lot of work, but it was rewarding.
Dude, totally. Yeah, when I started the merch thing when I was 22, I was young. I first got on the bus. I'd actually played a show. There's a guy, Tate Stevens. He won the X Factor show back in 2012. He's a Missouri guy too. When I was still living up there, I was playing guitar for him on and off. Anyway, when I got the gig to go do merch, I flew myself down to the Craig show because they hadn't met me yet. It was like I was taking the chance to go down there and work for him. But anyway, flew down there, get on the bus, and he's like, "Hey, how are you? Who are you?" I was like, "Sam, I'm your new merch guy or whatever." And he's like, "Cool, what do you do?" I'm like, "Merch." He's like, "No, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm a singer, guitar player, I write and stuff." He goes, "Great. We hired another singer as a merch guy." He's like, "Awesome."
Well, shout out Cole Swindell. I think he's the king of the merch guy glow ups. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, it was Luke, right?
Yeah,
Brian?
Luke Bryan. Yeah.
But wasn't Martina? Didn't she do merch too for somebody? Am I getting that right?
I think she was. I think she worked in. Don't quote me on this, but I thought she was like a front desk girl at a label or something.
Might have been. I thought who sold merch for Garth?
I don't know.
I'll have to look it up. I can't remember.
I know like Craig Campbell played keys for Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if there's any other stories like that. I'm sure there are. I just don't have any more off the top of my head.
I can't remember if somebody sold for Garth. He's a big star now. Don't quote me on that. Don't crucify me, whoever's listening to this.
We're not using the robots to find our information.
Yeah.
So
also,
exactly.
Chris, our merch guy with Michael Ray, and was our merch guy with Luke, is now the general manager of the local.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
Small world.
Yeah, it is.
So shout out Chris.
Right back to the local, man. Look at that. That's great.
Okay, so now we know how you got to town. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this music that's coming out.
Yeah, man. Yesterday was the first teaser thing that I have released on it. We cut it.
I didn't know you guys did a music video also, by the way.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's just a bunch of content that we shot. My buddy Dakota Thurn with Marathon Media he's up in Missouri still too. I met Dakota in the second grade, man. He's been my best friend forever. When growing up, him and I were doing a lot of hunting together and stuff. I left to come down here to do this and music and stuff, and he's still up there working with like Heartland Bowhunter, and doing the media side of things with his company, Marathon Media. And I was just like, you know what? Let's put the two dreams together. Come down here and let's shoot some content. I got some music coming out. And my oldest son, Tommy, is, he's Uncle Dakota. So he's not really too weirded out by him following him around with a camera. And I feel like if it was any other way, Tommy would be like, what is going on? Like, what, Dad, what are we doing? But it's Uncle Dakota, man. And so he came down and shot a bunch of really cool content. And I looked at him and I'm like, and this was just for the release of the song. But I'm like, we might have to just do a little music video because that's kind of what it turned out looking like.
Yeah.
So, but really our goal was to just get a bunch of content, for the release and for, weeks after the release.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, I'm super excited about your video, man. I saw it. I'm like, it is coming across that way, I think. That it's a music video. So
it's cool.
There might be we did shoot a little acoustic video. So stay on the line for that. But no, I told Dakota, I'm like, man, we might just have to do this thing like a video with it. So, I don't know.
Well, and honestly, that means that it looks professional enough that it should be a music video, which is great.
Yeah,
right.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, that's Dakota, man. He does really good stuff, and he's super creative too. He's not like a songwriter or anything, but there is a creative. I know, with media and and photography and videography and stuff. I mean, it's a creative.
It very much is.
And Dakota is really good at that. And you put two boneheads who are best friends together, we kind of come up with some cool ideas, I guess. But anyway, he does great, man, and it did turned out great. I'm happy with it. So
you mentioned Tommy, your son, being in the music video.
Yeah,
let's talk about the song and why your son's in the music video.
Yeah,
because the song's incredible. It's just pure country gold. But
thank you, man. It's called "Who's Teaching Who," and my wife might scold me for this. I think Ren was just born, or Mads was still pregnant with Ren when I wrote it with Ethan Phillips. The song's called "Who's Teaching Who." Ethan, actually, man, I got to give him props where it's freaking due, because he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, do you still want to write that song with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Which idea are you talking about?" And he's like, "Who's teaching who?" And I'm like, "Dude, like he's got no kids, and he's just a great friend. Tommy loves him, and
country is
yes, he is, man. And me and my wife love him to death, and we write a bunch together. But anyway, I'm like, yes, Ethan, holy shit, like why don't I remember this or whatever? He's like, okay, well, let's write it. Like, I had this idea, I love Tommy. Like, I just want to write this idea with you,
Yeah.
And so we did. We started it at his house, and a week later on the day we finished it, and that's the inspiration's Tommy. He'll be 4 on the day we're releasing it on Monday the 17th. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty crazy how it came around. But yeah, it's midnight of Father's Day, and then the day of his birthday, the 17th, is the release. But that's the story, man. I wrote it. It's about Ren too, but this is kind of Tommy's song right now. You know, I've got some other things that I pulled inspiration from having the second, my second boy. But that's Tommy, man. He's the star of the show for sure. It's the inspiration on that. It's who's teaching who. So.
And it's about your young son, sort of, with his unique perspective being a kid versus yours as an adult.
Yeah,
how he just kind of shines a light on different parts of your life and makes you reconsider things.
Yeah.
Kind of
and just for everything I learned from him, it's like he's learning from me. I mean, he's the kid, but it's like the things that he does and just the things he says and how he acts and, just who he is. It's like I'm learning things from him every day, and it's just it's all about that. It's the back and forth, who's teaching who,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm super thankful for Ethan's friendship, man, and for him, I mean, just having that idea and wanting to write it with me, too. But like I said, it's like, when he said that, I'm like, oh, my God, like, let's go home now and write it,
Yeah.
And, man, we did the work tape, and I couldn't even finish the work tape. I was just crying, and I was like, sorry, man, I got to redo it. And I still have it. I'll have to play it one of these days for you. But
dude, play it right now.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to hear some crying,
Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. It's funny, but yeah, the first line in the song is he's 2 going on 20, and it's like, do I need to change that lyric? But that's like when he'll be 4 now, but we wrote it a couple years ago. It's kind of crazy that it's just like, but you guys know when you write something, it stays for a minute. But I've never stopped playing that song in town or anything, but it's stuck around, man. Let me see if I can find it.
And so, what took you so long to put music out?
It's funny you ask. I don't really know, to be honest.
I got a bunch of great songs.
Thank you. I mean, I guess it's I'm writing every day, but they start piling up, So it's like I don't know what to release, or too. It's kind of a finance thing, man. It's like being an independent artist. Like you got to find the right way to do it, how you can financially do it, So it's kind of a couple different things, really. But
I think with your style of music that you sing, with your style of country, it's the production has to be that classic sound. I think you want to hear fiddle and you want to hear steel guitar on it,
right?
And you want to hear, beautiful background vocals like Massa sang on the song.
Yes,
and
get to that.
But there's a lot of artists now that are coming out, and with the more like Dylan Gossett, for example, has self-produced his music in his bedroom with GarageBand and one microphone and electric guitar plugged in, and he's just micing acoustic with his vocal mic and not really knowing what he's doing, and it's gone platinum,
Yeah.
And so obviously he is knowing what he's doing.
Right.
But I think with your stuff, it's like you got to have a bit of a budget to get that.
Yeah.
Those, premium dobro steel players to play on it. Yeah, let's hear it, dude.
I can't find the right one, man.
Oh, dang.
I'm trying to find. It's an old work. It's an old work tape. I have to look it up,
But so, like we were saying, I'm surprised this is your first release ever of music as a solo artist.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about it. But it's I don't know what's taking so long. A few different things, but this is what I want to say.
I don't want to have to wait another 20, 30 years until the next song.
No, man. No, absolutely not. This is just, what I want to say. I'm glad I had some stuff I recorded in 2020 when times were weird, and I thought about releasing it and just putting out a project. I'm glad I didn't, because this is what I want to say. This is who I am right now. It's my life every day, raising those kids and, being a husband and writing songs and music in between that. They come first, and, I wouldn't be able to do this without them. And so this is just really what I want to say.
Yeah.
It's who I am, man. I'm a dad, and then I'm a singer,
Yeah, in that order.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And, if I didn't have my wife to, support me doing this, it's just, it wouldn't be possible, man. The life that I'm in now with the kids and a wife, it's like that's half the thing is her support from it, So this is what I want to say, man. Like, I know it took a while, but also it's kind of a, there's been people who are excited for my music for a long time, and so now that it's finally happening, I feel like that's a reward, and hopefully it's going to get shared a little bit more because folks are excited.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share it. I already did share it.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
So let's talk about the recording process, because it was a special one for me, because I was involved. But it was just not cut in the usual Nashville way, I guess.
Yeah. It was super special, man. Rob Williford, he's a buddy of all of ours. He's been a friend for a while, and I posted an acoustic video of this from a show up in Wisconsin, and he called me and was like, man, I've always loved this song, but you doing this song in that room at that time, all the things, he's like, I want to record this song with you. And he goes down to Fame Studios and Muscle Shoals, Alabama, a lot. And we've been down there a handful of times to write and stuff, and have recorded the things that we have written in there or whatever, and did that. But this was my first recording experience, just going down to cut like a master in there in the legendary Fame Studios. So anyways, Rob called me and we worked it all out, and Kurt came down, played dobro and steel. Corey Hunt came down, played all the keys. Brandon Talby played bass. Rob brought a couple guys in, played guitar and played drums, and it was super special, man. Jerry Reed, Aretha Franklin, Shenandoah. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, it's a storied studio for sure.
Yeah, so it was super special, man. And what was more special for me was Rob taking the chance and believing in it and giving me the opportunity to do it.
You know what I love too is that he didn't text you, is that he called you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, it was at night, and I think we were just, me and my wife were like catching up on laundry, and he's like, hey, listen, you got a minute? I'm like, yeah, I do. And it was cool, man. Super, super thankful, beyond thankful for Rob, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rob is kind of that nudge that it took to get you to put some stuff out.
Yeah, he really was, man. And the fact that he believed in this song is just, it's the most special song I've ever written, and so for him to believe in that one was like, means a lot.
It's almost like he has a good ear for songwriting.
I would say
having won the Song of the Year award and all the other crazy awards he's won.
Yeah, man, he can do it. It's just super, super special. I'm super thankful for him, man. And yeah, like you said, I mean, the recording process in Fame is, wow, legendary studio down there. So yeah, we went down and did it, man.
And you got your best friend Corey, who played keys on it.
Yeah.
And just to give Rob some more props, the production on it is,
dude,
I was just, like I said, flabbergasted.
Yeah. No, thanks, man. He was really glad that you loved it that much. It meant a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Kurt, man.
Your vocal on that, it's like, damn, it sounds so good, dude. It sounds incredible.
Thank you so much.
And it sounds like you just recorded, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is what I love. Who and May I ask this is singing back on vocals on it, which that shocked me too.
Yeah, we were just recording. We were in the control room in Fame, and Rob and Dave Brainerd came down and co-produced too. Mm-hmm. They were like, man, we hear a female voice on this, and Rob looked at me and he goes, female voices, who do you think? And I said, May Estes. I didn't even think twice about it. It was the first thing that came to my head, May Estes. Rob's like, can you do that? Yeah, I'll sure give it a shot. And I shot her a text. May's a friend, and yeah. And so I asked if she'd like to sing on it, and she did, and she sounds like $1 million freaking dollars, man.
Yeah. Who played fiddle on it?
I cannot remember his name. I was afraid you'd ask. Dave Brainerd brought him in, man, and he
was that in Fame they cut it, or was it?
That was at Dave's studio. Yeah, back here in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we'll have to get with him and figure out who that was.
I'm so sorry, I don't remember.
No, it's okay.
Also, don't crucify me for this.
No, you're fine. No crucifixions happening today.
Oh, man. But thank you for all the compliments, man.
Yeah,
thank you for coming down and doing it, too.
Yeah.
Goodness, man.
It was
we got
fun.
to make some music together. That was a blast.
I think I came down the day before, and Rob and I just sat in the hot tub and had a couple of beers and smoked cigars.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, I love hearing Rob talk about that studio, too, and just like why he fell in love with it. And,
yeah.
What it means to him as, a musician, artist, songwriter.
Yeah.
I love when I watch my friends like just feel something, right? Whether it's about like a girl or whether it's about a song or whether it's about, for Rob, it's this production side is really scratching a different itch for him.
Yeah.
And I love seeing it like really fulfill him, and like make
too.
him, have something that he's probably had in other things and grown, and now he has another thing to scratch that itch,
Yeah. He is passionate about it, man. Everything he does, he's passionate about, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got good results with it too, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you guys get hooked up with Dave?
Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't met Dave before, which is funny because we have a bunch of mutual friends, but he said, man, I want to bring in this guy, Dave Brainerd, to help co-produce and kind of do the thing. And And I just trusted him. I didn't think twice about it. It's like, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
whoever you want. So, yeah, and Dave's great, man. Like, what a talent. Like, can play everything, can sing, We did, like I said, all the overdubs at his place. He worked immensely hard on it. Yeah. So, yeah, props, Dave Brainerd. Love you, man.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys just cut that one song, or did you cut some other stuff too?
Yeah, no, we just did that one. We had some ideas on if we were going to do some more stuff, but this was we wanted all of our focus on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just did this one. I mean, hopefully there's more to come after this, but yeah, man, we gave this one all we had.
Love that.
I remember a million trillion years ago when Luke had written Hurricane and had gone and cut this EP and kind of ran out of money, and because he didn't know, like, you had to pay to have things mastered.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? I thought we already paid to have it mixed. It's like, no, you got to have it mastered too.
Yeah.
And he kind of had $200 basically left in his bank account and spent it on. He had to pick one song off the EP to master, and he picked Hurricane.
That's
and
cool.
He, well, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. No kidding.
And so he put that song out, and it started popping, and that led to him finishing the EP. And then the EP got picked up and became half of his first record,
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And so I'm hoping this song, it pulls you in that direction, man.
Thank you.
For sure.
Man, thank you so much.
I want to hear some more Same Banks music being released. But first, we have to release this song, which comes out
June 17th.
Nice.
Next Monday.
So that's in 6 days from the day we cut this. I'm not sure when this will be released.
I mean, we could try to push it up.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Cool.
We'll talk about details.
Yeah. Deets to come.
Yeah. We've Kurt and I had been having trouble getting podcasts done, so we've just been doing 3 days.
Nice.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to get him out here, a half hour away from his house 100 times. And then I can talk him into smoking a cigar after with me too.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Pays off, man.
So when the song comes out, but you got to do the
TikTok.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why he doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Bless your innocence.
Oh, gosh.
So now you've got a TikTok now, and you're going to be doing all that?
I'm an old man. I
I'm
didn't.
an old man now.
I didn't even have I don't know. Maybe I'm behind the times, but I had an Instagram and all that, and that's basically what I'm doing all this on is Instagram.
Yeah.
And everybody, my little brothers, you got to get a TikTok, man. My wife's like, you got to get a TikTok, and it's like, I just didn't want to, be someone else who just gets a TikTok out of the blue.
Yeah.
So I kind of just planned it around this release and the content that Dakota shot. You're like, if I'm going to start one, I want to do it, I guess if there's a right way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But in my head, it's like, if I'm going to start a TikTok and do that damn thing, then I want this content to be in the core of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm on TikTok. Go follow me on TikTok, Sandbanks Music.
We've had some TikTok famous people on here, and one of the things that they said is going live, specifically when you're dropping like a video,
Heard that.
can help push it.
Cool.
And dude, you could do that at your shows.
Exactly.
You could do that while you guys are playing an acoustic gig.
Yeah.
And that's probably honestly great content.
Yeah, for sure. May and I were just talking about that the other day.
And if you do that consistently, like if you throw your phone on and do a live every Monday, you get a following from that.
Heck yeah, cool.
And Baker Blankenship, he's got a bunch of TikTok following. And he was saying he was just grinded on that, which is part of it now, dude. Yeah. If you want to do this, it's like he said, I was going live 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah. And he was gaining 4,000 or 5,000 followers a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel, it's social media is such a big part of the music industry now.
Yeah.
And the artistry part of it too, just putting yourself out there and putting everything literally on social media.
Yeah.
So it's a little vulnerable to not have had one, and two, to talk about it. It's like, I mean, I don't know, like I said, maybe I'm an old soul, I guess, but I'm just like, I never had a TikTok, it's just like, I would do Instagram posts and stories and videos and do my best to like post videos and stuff on YouTube and all that. But it's like, I'm part of the TikTok game now. It's like, you kind of have to, right? I guess.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, honestly, it's really the same as Instagram Reels in terms of engagement. It's different, but in terms of like the kind of content you're posting, for you is going to be very similar to that.
Right.
So if you're making content that you've made for Instagram Reels, it's going to be very good for TikTok as well.
Yeah, just tossing it over on the same thing, basically, right?
But it is a bigger platform for live streaming. So like for not even, only just music, but like video games and stuff. So there is a big following of people that will like look at live streams and like continued to go back to those week over week. So if you're doing stuff like your residency of cover shows or mixed in with originals, you know what I mean? That is a good way to do it. And honestly, there's revenue opportunities there too.
Yeah.
So I know like Trey Lewis, of course, who had like a big TikTok pop up, but he's like, man, I don't even ask for money when I'm on my streams, and I get money every time I'm on there.
That's great, man.
You know, people were just like, they're loving that you're on there. They're loving that you're doing that, and they're just dropping some, even if it's a little bit of money.
Sure.
You know, that takes that cover gig and just makes that tip bucket even a little better.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
We've been going live on Tyler's like for sound checks, and there's like hundreds, if not thousands of people on there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And, you know, just like way like a video pop, your live stream can pop too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it helps to have Luke pop in sometimes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's, you know, it's free. You just put it on there when you're gigging.
Yeah.
You know,
just plug your phone and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you can spend an hour, you know, when kids are asleep, get your little light and your phone holder and sing some tunes and just chat with people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, man. Sorry.
I love it. Yeah, we should live stream a podcast, dude.
Yeah, but then what happens when we say something really dumb that we need to cut out?
That's never happened. When's the last time we cut anything out of the podcast?
We really haven't in a while.
The only time I can think is when I was like, we had someone on like at the old studio that like, yeah, my new record deal, and then they were like, I wasn't supposed to talk about my record.
Yeah.
That was like one thing.
Well, we have canned a pod, the Hannah one.
Yeah.
That we still haven't re-recorded.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah.
I'll just pop in and say thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Of course.
The Raised Rowdy thing's awesome, man. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
I actually, this doesn't happen to me a lot, mainly because I'm maybe not out as much as I used to be, but I was at a show, and someone came up to me and said, hey, I really like your podcast. And I was like, thanks.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
And my friend Matt, who's our bass player, Luke, says he listens to all the episodes. So love you, Matt.
Oh, Matt.
And my parents listen, so we're doing great.
I love Matt, too. And your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All three of them.
All three of them.
No, it's one of those things where for me it was kind of like a way for me to get to know more about stuff.
Oh, I've learned so much doing this podcast, man.
Yeah, just little things you don't even think you're going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, other thing, too, is like we've had a few podcasts where we're just like, man, that just filled my whole heart up. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. Like we just had Beggar Blankenship on, and he's like new and has that like,
he's like
just
19.
pure enthusiasm of,
awesome.
you know, just loving the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool, man.
Man, sometimes the further you go, you forget how those moments feel.
Yeah.
And even when someone else is feeling it, it helps you feel it. You know, it kind of brings back that childlike love for it when you see someone else having that love for it.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
I did a writers round recently where I just played dobro with some writers.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool private gig. It was at the Ryman, actually. And it was with Wyatt. It was Brett James.
White Durrett.
And White Durrett. Brett James and Christian Bush. And Christian Bush, I've never met him. It was my first time playing with him. That dude loves, I mean, all those cats do, but Christian has that same thing I feel like I do, where it's just kind of like, he just loves playing music.
Yeah.
He's like, I brought my mandolin. Is it cool if I play mandolin on this? And like, can I, you know, like, and he just, it's just so much fun to play with those guys.
He's a great entertainer too. Christian always has.
Yeah, I've never seen him play live. I know they just, the day we played that was like the day after they played on the CMA Awards or something, like when they just got back.
Yeah.
And so he was all jazzed up.
That's
cool.
Man.
Yeah, super nice guy. So, man, awesome. I'm so stoked that that you're getting to put your music out and everything, man. Is there anything coming up that we need to talk about? You got some shows that you want to plug, or
man,
you want to plug your TikTok also?
I want to plug my TikTok. No, I mean right now I'm just really focusing on this release, kind of just the next week, you know, putting that out there and sharing it as much as I can, telling as many people as I can about it. I got a haircut the other day, and
it looks great.
Thank you. Yours does too, but you didn't get it cut, but it looks great. I tipped him on Venmo, and we talked about my music club. I've been getting my haircut at this place for a minute, but anyway, he's like, "Man, what's been going on?" You know, and I'm like, also barbershop talks are my favorite, man.
I love
you just sit and get your, you know, it's like
I
old men in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I'm releasing music. He's like, man, I can't relate to any music these days. Like, and he has a almost 2-year-old boy. And anyway, long story short, in my tip when I said thanks, I just said, who's teaching who, coming 6/17/24. I was like plugging this any way I can, you know. So he's like, great. Oh, I got Venmo. Oh yeah, that song's coming out. You know, like, I'm giving this thing everything I got, man. But no, I mean nothing too crazy right now, to be honest. I'm really just focusing on this release until the next week and doing that. I'm signing a publishing deal today.
Nice.
What? Let's go.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
I'm taking a picture at 3:00 and doing the thing. So
that's why your hair's looking so good today.
Yeah.
You have a microphone line.
I know.
Or not microphone, headphone line.
I'm proud of the.
Can we know who you're signing the book deal with?
Porch Light Music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Doing that. So
I love when the good guys win.
Thank you. It's an exciting week, man. It's been in the works for a few months, and everything's finally just finally coming together on that. And Jenny Hall's working over there. I love Jenny. Dale Dotson's over there. I love them. You know, Clint Daniels, Tim James, Chris Sly. Excuse me. Yeah. So I'm super jacked up, man.
That's
I'm
amazing.
really excited. Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. So more music, but like I said, after this Who's Teaching Who thing, I'm really focusing on it. But at the same time, another part of my head's already like, all right, I think I know what's next,
Yeah.
Song wise, it's like you said, I write every day, so it's like there's a bunch piled up, but just like playing these songs out that I'm writing in public and seeing like, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's like, oh, I think that song would be a good next song. So it's always, you got to be one step ahead, I guess, but. Yeah, man, that's kind of what's next. So
the direction, eventually you'll have people that can help you with that. But in the beginning stages, having clear direction and knowing what you want to do and how you want to do it is very important. So
yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm putting all my focus in this song, but also at the same time thinking about future still at the same time. Yeah.
And always, dude, think about what makes you you. You know exactly what makes you you. Yeah. But ask that wife too, because she knows real well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She says that a lot. See, I told you should have posted this. See, I told you should have sang this one. She's like, if anybody would just listen to me. I guess I need to turn my listening ears up.
The one thing that you'll see is you get involved in your own thing, but the people that are closest to you know who you are too, and they have the thing of being slightly outside of it looking in.
Sure.
Oh
so yeah, totally.
Trust the folks that you trust in your life with that as well.
Yeah, it's great, man. Thanks. I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been an honor having you on, bud.
It's been an honor being here, really. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, the platform to talk.
And you're going to have to send me the song now, too.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it, man.
Absolutely.
Who's teaching who? It sounds better than that, y'all. Go check it out. I promise.
I'm looking forward to everybody hearing it.
We are looking forward to it, too.
Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Nicky T.
I'm Kurt Ozan, and we'll see you on the front row.